I first noticed him on a Tuesday night, though I'm sure he'd been there longer. I was coming home late, the hallway dim, except for the flickering light near my door. The building was always quiet at night, but that evening the silence felt heavier, like the air was holding its breath. As I walked toward my apartment, I saw him standing at the far end of the hallway. A man, tall, still, facing the wall. Not doing anything, not moving, just standing there, like he'd forgotten what he was supposed to be doing. I slowed down, waiting for him to turn, to acknowledge me, to do anything. But he didn't. He didn't even seem to be breathing. I cleared my throat. "Hey, you okay?" No response. I took a step closer. The light flickered again, buzzing overhead. The man didn't react. He just kept staring at the wall, head tilted slightly, as if listening to something inside it. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "Sir?" I tried again. Nothing. I backed away and unlocked my door, keeping my eyes on him the whole time. He didn't move, not an inch. When I closed the door behind me, I pressed my ear to it. Silence. But not the normal kind. This was the kind of silence that feels like someone is standing on the other side, listening. I didn't sleep well. The next morning he was gone. I almost convinced myself I'd imagined him. A trick of the light, a shadow, a tired mind. But that night, when I came home again, he was back. Same spot, same posture, same stillness. Only this time, he was facing me. His head was tilted too far to the side, like his neck didn't quite work right. His eyes were open but unfocused, staring past me instead of at me. His mouth hung slightly open, as if he'd forgotten how to close it. I froze. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't move, just stared through me. I forced myself to walk past him, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. As I reached my door, I felt something. A shift in the air, a subtle pressure, like someone leaning closer. I turned. He was inches behind me. I stumbled back, slamming into my door. He hadn't made a sound, not a single footstep. But he was right there, his face too close, his eyes too wide, his head still tilted at that impossible angle. His mouth twitched. Not a smile, not a frown, just a twitch, like he was trying to remember how to use it. I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking, and managed to get inside. I locked the door and backed away, breathing hard. For a long time, I heard nothing. Then, softly, a sound, a slow, dragging scrape along the bottom of my door, like fingernails. I didn't sleep at all. The next day, I told the landlord. He looked at me like I was crazy. "No one lives on your floor except you," he said. "The other units are empty." I insisted. He shrugged. "Maybe you saw a visitor. But visitors don't stand motionless for hours. Visitors don't appear without footsteps. Visitors don't press their faces to your door in the middle of the night." I didn't argue. What was the point? That night, I came home early, hoping to avoid him. He was already there, standing in front of my door, waiting. His head was tilted even further now, almost horizontal, like his neck was made of wet rope. His eyes were wide and glassy, reflecting the dim hallway light. His hands hung at his sides, fingers twitching slightly, like he was trying to remember how to use them. I stopped at the end of the hallway. "Please," I whispered. What do you want? His mouth opened slowly, too slowly, like the muscles didn't know how to work. A sound came out. Not a word, not a breath. Something else. A low, vibrating hum that made the walls tremble. The light above us flickered violently, buzzing like it was about to explode. I stepped back. He stepped forward. I turned and ran. I didn't go home that night. I stayed at a cheap motel across town, staring at the ceiling until dawn. When I finally returned to my building, the hallway was empty. No sign of him. I almost relaxed until I reached my door and saw the marks. Long, deep scratches carved into the wood, starting at the bottom and dragging upward in uneven lines, as if someone had clawed at it for hours. My hand shook as I unlocked the door. Inside, everything looked normal, except for one thing. On my kitchen table, there was a piece of paper. I didn't put it there. I picked it up with trembling fingers. There was only one sentence written on it, in shaky, uneven handwriting. I remember you now. I dropped the paper. Something moved in the hallway. Slow footsteps, dragging, coming closer. I locked the door. The footsteps stopped right outside. Then, softly, the humming began. Low, vibrating, hungry. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he wants. But I know one thing. He's getting better at moving. And tonight, he won't stop at the door. I first noticed him while brushing my teeth. Not a ghost, not a shadow, not a trick of the light. A man, standing behind me, in the mirror. He wasn't in the room, only in the reflection. Tall, thin, wearing a dark suit that looked a size too small. His face was wrong in a way I couldn't describe. Not deformed, not monstrous. Just incorrect. Like someone had tried to sculpt a human face from memory and missed a few important details. I spun around. Nothing. When I looked back at the mirror, he was gone. I told myself it was exhaustion, stress, a momentary hallucination. But the next night he was there again. Closer this time. Standing directly behind my shoulder. Head tilted slightly, as if studying me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Instead, I stared at the reflection, heart pounding, toothbrush frozen in my hand. He didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe, just watched. The third night he smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It wasn't even a human smile. It was too wide, too forced, stretching his face in ways skin shouldn't stretch. His teeth were small and perfectly square, like someone had filed them down. I dropped the toothbrush. He didn't react. I backed out of the bathroom, keeping my eyes on the mirror. He followed my movement, not in the room, but in the reflection. His head turned slowly, tracking me. When I stepped into the hallway, he lifted his hand and waved. I slammed the bathroom door shut. The next morning, I covered every mirror in the apartment with towels. Bathroom, bedroom, closet door, even the microwave. I didn't want to see him again. But that night, I heard something. A soft tapping, coming from behind the bathroom door. Tap, 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 like a fingernail on glass. I pressed my ear to the door. Tap, tap, tap. Slow, patient, like he knew I was listening. I backed away. The tapping grew louder. I grabbed my keys and left the apartment, heart racing. I didn't come back until sunrise. When I finally returned, the towels had fallen off the mirrors, all of them, every single one, and written across the bathroom mirror in long smeared streaks were the words, "Turn around next time." I moved out that afternoon. But sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I still see a tall, thin man in a too small suit standing just behind me, smiling.